What's up? This is Chosen, and this video is going to be a Faction Wars guide for the Banner Lords. I'm going to have a full infographic showing the exact team that I use, all the gear, stats, and have a full discussion about that team. We're also going to go over all of the grades for every single champion in the Banner Lords, and then towards the end of the video, I will show you the run of my 3-star full auto on the last stage for the Banner Lords. So let's get into it. Alrighty, so first of all, let's go ahead and fire up the infographic here for my Banner Wars team. Now, as always, you can find links to my infographics down in a pinned comment, so you can pull these up and take a look at them on your own time and be able to kind of go over them yourself here. So you'll see here I've got a team of Lugan the Steadfast, Stag Knight, Sathalia, Septimus, and Lord Champfort. It's kind of a standard 2-2-1 setup where you have 2 supports, 2 debuffers, and then 1 hard damage dealer, and that being Septimus. He scales very well with enemy max HP, can hit super hard. Put him in a lifesteal set, he can basically heal up to full health in 1 attack because he does a lot of damage. Lugan and Sathalia filling kind of the support roles, and then Stag Knight and Lord Champfort as the debuffers of my opponents. One thing that I would like to work on is to get a couple of those accuracies a little bit higher. Lord Champfort and Lugan, the accuracies are a little bit on the low side, and with Lord Champfort being a debuffer, the speed of 187, which is the slowest of my team, is a small problem. I would like to get Lord Champfort's speed up there, kind of like the Stag Knight in the 215 range or something like that. So there's always things to work on, but this does farm the last stage in 4 or 5 minutes, so it is totally viable the way it is. And if we look at the average stats on the far left of the infographic, 60,000 average HP is a lot of average HP. That is high because I've got Lord Champfort and Lugan, 2 champions that both scale with HP, so it kind of throws that number out of whack. The standard averages for a team that clears stage 21 is usually around 45 to 50-ish for the HP, and then around 2,500 to 3,000 for the average defense. I usually average about 220, 230 accuracy. Like I said, the Lugan and the Lord Champfort are a little bit low, and the Septimus doesn't need accuracy, so him all the way down at 100 brings that average way down. Resistance is also a little bit low at 113. I would like to get that up to 150 because resistance is actually pretty important on the last stage, but we'll touch on that when we go over the boss. So now let's go ahead and pull up all of the champions in Faction Wars and go over the full individual grades. So as we dive into the index and go over Banner Lords is one of the most filled out factions in the game. It's got a lot of champions in it, so there is a lot of options, and they do have a lot of legendaries as well. But they are a little bit sparse on the revivers. They do have Raglan, who is a god tier reviver, especially for Faction Wars. She's got this miracle ability that revives an ally every 2 turns when booked. So Raglan is crazy in Faction Wars. She's even got the ally defense in all battles by 33%. Really good base stats. An A1 that boosts turn meter. She really does it all. She's also got AoE cleanse on the A2, and she's void affinity, so Raglan is definitely amazing in Faction Wars. That leads me in to bringing up the infographic here that I've got showing all of the grades for the Banner Lords, and just like my team infographic, I will have this down in a pinned comment so you can pull this up and take a look at it. Stag Knight, you will see at the top of the list. He is crazy. He's one of the best epics in the game for account progression in dungeons, arena. He can even be good in the clan boss. When I do account takeovers, I'm always using Stag Knight to progress people in almost any dungeon, Faction Wars, all that good stuff. So if you have Stag Knight, definitely get him build, and he will most likely be amazing for you in Faction Wars. Raglan, we already went over. Lugan is really good. He cranks out the heals. He's based on HP. He does actually have a skill that also locks out cooldown as well that people really underestimate. He's kind of like a baby hegemon sort of ability. And then they've got a lot of other good legendaries for Faction Wars. Septimus, amazing for being your damage dealer. Sathalia is really good. Manaya, Black Knight. Killian is surprising me. A lot of people think he's a trash can, but he is honestly pretty good in Faction Wars, especially if you put books on him. And then Lord Champfort is also a lot better than people give him credit for, especially in Faction Wars. He decreases attack. He's based on HP. He's very tough, very sturdy, so he's also very good. And then in terms of kind of the cheaper free-to-play options, admittedly, not a whole lot of them. Valerie, you do get when you're early in the game. I believe she's a champion that's given to you. and she's decent for Faction Wars. Then you've also got people like Myrmidon and Chevalier, the Void Rare, that can be decent. Typically, you're only going to want to use champions that are at least a 6, that are up in the blue. When you start getting down to champions that are 5s and 4s and 3s that are towards the red side, they're going to quickly fall off when you start getting up to stages, 15, 16. Champions in the blue should be viable all the way up till stage 18 or 19, and then you're gonna start needing some good champions if you want to get up there in the 20 and 21 to clear them reliably with a 100% win rate. And I do want to also touch on the boss that you'll be going up against in Stage 21. Now, in Faction Wars, there are 3 boss fights: Stage 7, Stage 14, and Stage 21. If you are stuck on Stage 7 or Stage 14, the problem is probably your account development, your champions development, needing better gear, needing more books on champions, stuff like that. But Stage 21 can be very tough, so I do want to have a quick discussion and show you what you'll be up against in the last stage. So we've got the boss coming at you with an AoE A1 that can place a fear debuff for 1 turn. So resistance is very good against this boss to try and resist those fears, because them on an AoE for a default ability, that can be very suppressive. And then this boss does actually revive the dead adds that it has and place a sleep on itself. So that gives you an opportunity after it revives if you want to go ahead and have time to target down those adds again. Just be wary. With a sleep debuff, you can wake the boss up if you do an AoE or if you target the boss. So that's an opportunity if you want to really min-max. When the boss does the revive and sleeps itself, you can use that as an opportunity to slam down those adds that the boss just revived. Then the A3 is going to be attack 1 enemy with 2 random allies. Again, very important to take down those adds that the boss revives. Places a block damage buff on this champion for 1 turn if all allies are dead. So that's kind of negating the fact to give that ability some sort of utility if you have dealt with the minions. Allies joining attack will use their default skills. That's kind of normal for the course. And then add 1 is just pretty standard. It has AoE. The add 2 is going to attack random enemies and ignore a certain percentage of defense. Now, I got this information from a post about Faction Wars and all of the bosses involved in it. I will link to that. It goes to a post on Plarium's site for somebody that dove into all the mechanics of these bosses. So if you want to pull that up, I'll link that below as well. But the blue symbol boss is the one that you will be going up against in the last stage of the Bannerlords. And now I'm going to take off, and if you want to stay and watch, I will show you my full auto 3-star clear of the last stage of Bannerlords. So if you want to see that, stick around, and remember, I will have links to all those infographics and the things that I used in this video down below in a pinned comment. So thanks for watching. Have a good one. Peace.